Why do some people crumble under stress and some people thrive? A CEO facing a bankruptcy, an athlete in Olympics, and you being in a make or break interview, they all have one thing in common. They are expected to perform under pressure. Today, I'm revealing the science-backed strategies from one of my favorite books of all time, Performance Under Pressure, to help you navigate the tough times during an interview, crisis in professional or personal life, or if you have a big presentation or a public speaking coming up. And then stick around till end because I'm going to share some bonus tips with you. Hey adventurers, if you're new here, I'm Hadi, a first-generation Canadian, a McGill-trained geologist, a Rodman MBA, who cracked the code on how to build an extraordinary career from scratch. After 10 years in mining and another decade and counting, managing high-performing teams in the financial industry, I've had my fair share of being in high-stakes situations. From job interviews to big presentations to navigate a crisis either in my personal life or in my professional career. And trust me, pressure doesn't go away. But how you can handle pressure can make all the difference. Today, we specifically will talk about how to overcome anxiety in the moments that matter the most, how you perform. Let's dive in. First up, how to manage stress during interview. A situation I've been in countless times on both sides of the table. The stress that comes in situations like interview usually stems from the fact that we see an interview as a threat. And that makes our brain to triggers a fight or flight response. The authors introduce an amazing framework called COTE of armor to handle this type of situations. COTE stands for C, confident, O, optimism, T, tenacity, and E, enthusiasm. When it comes to confidence, prepare thoroughly, practice questions, study the company and the people who are interviewing you, understand what they care about, the values of the company, and really walked into that room knowing that you are prepared. When it comes to optimism, if you reframe the interview from a threat to an opportunity to build new network, it makes a big difference. I always remind myself before a big interview that this is just my chance to have a conversation with someone. If you look at interview as more of a conversation and treat it that way, it's very common that even if you don't get that specific role, they will reach out to you for future openings. When it comes to tenacity, it's all about resiliency. It's all about focusing on the present and the process rather than the outcome and the fear of failure. Even when you're prepared, it's easy to stumble upon a question when you lose your balance or you feel you're unprepared. The best strategy for those moments is to pause, try to make a joke, or try to pivot to a different question when you're familiar with. So a question from me was that, do you have experience in working with clients in the banking? First of all, I was frozen for a second and then relaxed myself. And then I pivoted from that question. I said, I don't have direct experience on working with clients in the financial industry. However, this is how I work indirectly with clients in my current role. And here is some direct client experience that I had, not in a financial industry, but back when I was doing a retail job working for the body shop. Just remember, losing one question doesn't mean the full interview. But if you, from that moment on, completely be frozen until the end of interview, you for sure lost the interview. When it comes to enthusiasm, show genuine excitement for the role. You are going to spend 8 hours a day or plus on a role for the best hours of your day during the week. You really want to spend that time doing something that you're not excited about. And to me, that excitement usually comes with looking into the job description, seeing the expectations, and knowing that there's going to be good challenges and good learning experiences for me to do that role. Plus, when I research a company, you would learn so much about the culture of the company and the values of that company through their website. And you can see if the values are close to you, and you can talk from heart from some of those values that are really close to yours. And that enthusiasm really makes you more confident and likable. The book suggests a quick stress buster. Take 5 slow, deep breaths before the interview. That would lower your heart rate and calm your mind and put it in focus. One of my other favorite strategies is the body language strategy in the TED Talk by Amy Cuddy. This power pose is shown to reduce the stress hormones by 15%. You can also watch my video here on more strategies on how successfully navigate an interview. Next is managing pressure during crisis in your personal or professional life. That could happen during financial struggles, uncertain times like right now, through layoffs and through personal challenges. The book highlights that this type of pressure often distorts our thinking and make us feel really overwhelmed. The key is to use pressure solution strategy to regain control. Here's how it works. Step 1, reframe pressure moments. Just shifting your mindset from looking at something as a trauma versus as a challenge makes so much difference in lowering your stress. Step number 2 is focus on what you can control. The authors emphasizing on controlling the controllables and not focus on things that you can't control. If you lay off, you can't control the fact that you lost your job. You can't control the fact that market is not doing well and the job market might be pretty tough. But what you can control is to reflect and leverage this opportunity to look into your skill sets. If you need to up a skill, polish your resume, polish your networking skill set, and try for a new and hopefully a better chance to work. Step 3, build a pressure buffer. Create a small wins to boost your resiliency. That could be a 10-minute meditation every day, or setting up a goal of applying for 3 jobs every day or 5 jobs every week. But those daily routines makes you feel grounded. The book also stresses the power of social support. Talking to a friend or a mentor can make all the difference. It's a simple way not only to reduce stress, but also to gain perspective, especially if your friend or your mentor went to something similar and they can offer how they passed through that crisis. Finally, how to prep for a big presentation, or if you have a public speaking in front of a crowd. Something I've done a lot in my 20 years of leadership in mining and finance. Performance Under Pressure book teaches us how to turn our anxiety to excitement through a technique called Arousal Reappraisal, as well as a structured preparation. Here's how it works. Reappraise your nerves. The author said that both anxiety and excitement feel the same physiologically. You're familiar with them. Sweaty palms, high heart rate. So next time before a big presentation, tell yourself, oh, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. The second one is practice with pressure. Put yourself in those pressure moments. That means if you're going to talk in front of a crowd, try to mimic that pressured situation. That would be recording yourself and then watching yourself after. Use a pre-performance routine. Create a ritual that every time you're going through a big presentation, you go through that routine and then your body get used to that routine. So every time that you do that routine, your body is ready to go and get excited and perform the best possible. One more tip from the book is to visualize the success, not the end game, not when the audience applaud, but also the process. Just imagine that you're having a speech and audiences are engaged and they're very interested and they're listening to you. Some overall bonus tip for overcoming pressure and anxiety in life. First of all, adopt a growth mindset. When you're going through a situation, leverage that situation to learn from it and especially be open to feedback. The other one that's a no-brainer is to prioritize your sleep and exercise. These two have such big impact on your overall anxiety, and that healthy body can then be prepared for a brain that's going through a pressure. If those two are missing, then it makes it very difficult for your brain to perform under now additional pressure. Laugh therapy is one of the things that are proven through so many studies. If you're going through a big presentation or an interview and you feel really, really nervous, try to watch a funny cat video. And post-performance ritual. The moment you're out of an interview or you're out of a presentation, write one win for yourself. That will make your brain to then next time remembers those successful positive experiences and just makes it easier for your brain to perform under pressure. And remember, people who thrive under pressure, they don't have less fear. They just have better tools. Pressure isn't your enemy, it's your training ground. Pick one of the techniques that we discussed today and try this week. And comment below, I tried this hack and this is what I noticed. Hit the like button if this helped you. Subscribe for more science-backed success tips and share this with someone if that's going to help them. Let's not just survive under pressure. Let's use it to level up. Till next time.